In this segment, we'll talk about an important part of social engineering, and those are the targets that you can try to access and contact to get information about the organization. Now, social engineering targets can include any person in the food chain in the organization, and this could be even the CEO all the way down to the janitor. Even the janitor can have valuable information that you could use. Every target, in fact, has something of value to offer the hacker. This could be information, it might be access to secure areas like the server room. Heck, even gossip could be helpful because you might hear things that aren't necessarily written down on paper or transmitted over the network about people, and you can use that information. Even if a target does not have any useful information for you or can't get you into anything, maybe they have the ability to introduce you to another target that is considered valuable, and that in itself is a good thing. Now, depending upon several things, whether the person you're targeting is an executive or a help desk person or a janitor and so forth, it may require a different approach. It also may require a different approach if the contact that you have with the target is of a casual nature, like meeting them on a ball field during a game, or a social nature, like meeting them in a bar, or even a professional context, like posing as a salesman and talking to them. So all of these different contexts may have different approaches that you would have to master and be able to use against a target. Now, speaking of targets, let's talk about some of the particular targets that we might be looking at in an organization. These are typically the targets you want, the ones here listed on the screen. Executives are good targets, and this includes the CEO and all the C-level positions, the CIO, the CISO, and so forth, because they have valuable strategic information about an organization. They have the keys to the kingdom, if you will, and most importantly, they may have power that can be used and leveraged and manipulated to gain access to an organization. Now, maybe you might manipulate that power by blackmailing them, or you might manipulate that power by being friends with them and getting them to do your favors and so forth. Technical personnel also have the keys to the kingdom, but it's on a different level. They may have passwords, network architecture details, network configuration details that you can glean from them. Even if you just get a little bit of information about the infrastructure, that's helpful. But you may even get access to things like passwords. They also may have security information, like the firewall configuration, for example, that may tell you how to access the network, how to get through their defenses and get to the network infrastructure. Now, security personnel obviously have the security information about the organization, and that could include the technical information, but it also probably includes physical information like physical security, organizational policies and procedures. They could even have access codes to secure areas like the server room. They may know the alarm details and be familiar with the guard schedule and so forth. They also may know the contingency plans and incident response procedures, and this would help you defend yourself in the event an attack fails or doesn't go well. Administrative personnel, I'm talking executive assistants and secretaries and so forth, they are very valuable people. In fact, they can be some of the most valuable people you talk to because they typically know everything that's going on in an organization. They know the official stuff and the unofficial stuff. If you can talk to an executive assistant that works for a CEO, for example, they usually know the typical whereabouts and habits of most of their bosses and other employees in their area, so they can actually give you a lot of cool information. Now, facilities personnel, obviously, they know a lot of things about the facilities. They know the layout. They may know the physical security details, such as where all the closed-circuit TVs are, what the guard schedule is, and so forth. They also may be aware of any issues with the facility, like alarms that don't work or doors that don't work properly. And they can tell you about new facility additions that you might need to know about in order to get into that facility, to take advantage of. There are also external personnel, such as contractors that may visit the facility, construction personnel that are helping on with an addition to the building or something like that, janitorial staff, obviously, delivery personnel, vendors. All these people have information they can give you and could even get you access to certain areas. Now, some of the things that a hacker might use, and these are things that I've used in penetration tests before, in addition to the different types of employees like executives, technical personnel, you're also looking for personnel that have quirks or have issues, because those people can actually be easily manipulated into giving you information. These might be disgruntled employees who aren't getting paid enough or got passed over for promotion. Maybe they've got a lot of bad things to say about the organization. Some of these employees can be blackmailed if you pay attention to their social media, intercept emails, and so forth. They may be doing something they don't want anyone to know about. They may not want their wives, for example, to know about their girlfriends. So they might be easily susceptible to suggestion based upon that. Gossipy administrative assistants are always helpful. They can give you some cool information about people that you won't find officially. System administrators that are overworked, underpaid, always like to vent and talk about their troubles in bars. Security personnel are also frequently arrogant. They have egos. And if you can stroke that ego and pump them up a little bit, they will give you information also. You also might take advantage of the relationships that blue-collar workers have versus white-collar relationships. Some of the blue-collar folks don't like the executives and talk about how bad they are, or talk about things that the organization does that may be useful from a hacking perspective. And there are other types of targets you might look at too. Elderly employees always like to be helped, and they like to talk sometimes. Sometimes other employees like to help you out a lot. Employees with unusual hobbies, if you get them talking about those hobbies, they can be easily susceptible to getting information about. So there's all kinds of employees and different situations that could give you information about an organization and what's going on there. So take advantage of these things, and you have to really be kind of a social person and have people skills to take advantage of some of these things.